Okay, so we will do hips. Let us come straight into it, I think. We'll just do a couple of breaths sitting and come into our stretchy stuff. Cool. So sitting tall, finding height through the spine, making sure shoulders feel relaxed, facial muscles are relaxed. And just spending time to connect to your breath. So with hips are our main focus today, the out breath is super important. Nice full breath, slowing right down on the out breath. And then we blink the eyes open. And we'll start our asana, the physical part of the practice. So if we just jump our feet together and we'll start to mobilize like so. So little butterfly kicks. Yeah, and you can change the positioning with your feet in terms of distance. So traditionally they're very close towards you, but it feels a bit uncomfortable. I tend to move further away. Lovely. And then if we use some strength as well to kind of encourage the legs lower down, so it might be slower as you use some more mind control, I guess. Lovely. Good. And then we're coming to Tsukasana. So this is the one that's a little tricky. You start with your feet crossed at the ankles, and then we're going to try and wriggle, getting our feet underneath the knees. And it's an idea of externally rotating at the thigh socket. And unlike sitting crossed, our shins are parallel to the edge of the mat. Yeah, just doing what you can there. Then the hands come down by the feet. If it's too strong at any point, the feet will just end up close together. We sit tall and then begin to hinge forwards. And if you're anything like me, you'll start to feel the stretch quite quickly. And then we're going to press into our fingertips, rising up on an in-breath. Exhaling. Lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Then when you're here, if you twist a little bit from side to side, imagining you're bringing your chest ever closer towards your legs. Wonderful. And the head moving forwards. And then pressing down into your hands. Let's walk them over towards one side. And the inside hand, the one that's closest to your legs, reaches further forwards, firmly rooting down through both sit bones here and then folding. Then walk your hands across to the other side, same again. Inside hand stretching further forward, shoulders square to the floor as you fold. Walking the hands back up, keep your legs where they are. Take the hands behind you. Your legs might lift as you do so, and I'll just show you sideways on. And then you're going to try and relax the legs back down. Press into your hands, heart lifts, chin towards chest, or if you're comfortable to do so, drop the head back behind you. Lovely. Good, then lean into your hands just to swing the legs around into the opposite formation, and taking time again to kind of wriggle. Ideally the feet are flexed, which is easier the further under the knees they are. Externally rotating from the thigh socket, and we'll repeat the exact same thing. So hands are going to come by the knees again, and we're going to hinge forwards and try towards the legs, head towards the floor. Then pressing to rise up on an in-breath. Exhaling, coming back down. Press to rise. Exhale down. Then again rising, but we're just going to go a little way so that we can twist side to side again. Having of the head moving further forward here. And then press up just a little way. So hands are going to come to the heart now, and you can do the opposite elbow against the same leg somewhere. You'll press against it and really try to open your chest towards the side, firmly pushing through the top hand. Lovely. Chin tucks in, look up over the top shoulder. Lovely. Then come down through the center, open out to the other side. Wonderful. Press, rise back up. We'll just do another little stretch, taking the hands behind you, squeezing between shoulders, pushing the chest upright. Lovely. And chin can be tucked in or face to the sky. And then we release. Good. Okay, so before we do any more stretching, think about mobilizing our hips instead. If we come into an all fours position, so just spinning around however you need to. Good. Okay, so we'll cat-cow in a moment, but for now this is just about the hip. You're going to keep your leg at a right angle, lift one, doesn't matter which, lifting it up. And then you're going to open it out to the side, so kind of making this circular movement with it. Yeah, and you can either keep the pelvis level and isolate the movement deeper in the hip, or if it opens out, that's fine. Good, and then move in the opposite direction. See which one feels harder. Lovely, and then switching sides. Wonderful, move in the opposite direction. Fantastic. Now let's open our knees out nice and wide, bring the big toes together. Push your sit bones back towards the legs, and then sliding the hands as far forward as possible, chest comes down. Keep the breath super slow. And press down, rising back up. Bring your knees in together again. And we're coming into our cat-cows. So you're going to lengthen forward through the heart, bottoms up. Find a gentle back bend. And then flexing the spine, pushing away from the floor, chin tucks in. And repeating. Lovely. Ignore my cat. He's being very noisy today. Good. You're going to tuck under through the toes, push back and rise into downward facing, taking it however you need to. This might be with a bent leg, might be wriggling out through the backs of the legs, hips side to side, or you can hold it still if that's how you prefer to find your ease. Exhale, slowly drop down onto your knees. Good. I'm going to open out to the side. If you go to face towards me, it'll be easier. So we're going to come into a little bit of strength stuff for the hips. Strength and flexibility work together so nicely, so it's important we do both. Good. Keep a slight bend into your grounded elbow. Press nicely into this top foot. The foot behind it, the more it changes the pose. So try to keep it fairly in line if you can. Let's flex our foot the whole time. Lifting it up, you're squeezing into this top glute. And then slowly lower it. You're going to float it just above the floor. Arm comes up and over. Good. And rising back up. Good. Lowering down. Rising tall. Good. Let's change it now. Let's bring the knee towards the elbow, keeping the knee up super high. Opening out. Squeezing in. Open out. Squeezing in. Wonderful. Now open, keeping your foot flexed. You're going to swing it forwards, hold in line with your hip for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop your foot by the hand. Swing both arms up. Tuck under through the tailbone as you rise. And then slowly we sink a little lower. Good. Lifting. Lowering. 1 more. Good. Now release the hand that was on the floor for balance a moment ago, and you face towards your leg, looking up towards the top hand. Other way, John. That's it. So while you're here, we tend to hold ourselves kind of in this shape. As much as possible, we're sinking our hips down. And you can use the hand for support so you don't feel like you're taking too much body weight through the hips. Then when ready, the hand comes onto the knee. We flex our foot, roll to the outside edge of it, and push the knee away from you, sinking a little lower. I think we did this one last week. Good. Then let's come to lizard. So both hands on the inside of your foot. Place the foot firmly down on the floor. And lengthen your chest forwards. That may be where you stay. Or you can creep your hands further forward, trying to keep the shoulders level. Perhaps you're able to come down onto the forearms. Good, then walking the hands back up. We're going to frame around our foot. You might need to wriggle it into the middle. Tuck under through the back leg and lift to downward facing. Remember which foot was forwards. So you're just going to take a few breaths in downward dog to start. Then you can either stay here or, if you prefer, lift the leg that was just in the front and open out with your hips. You end up looking underneath your armpit, but the shoulders stay level. If you want to, you can bend with the top knee and try and kick the heel towards the bottom. And that's it. Keep really lifting, squeezing into the glute to get the power there. And then releasing down, downward facing dog. Slowly walk your feet up towards the middle of the mat and the hands back towards your feet. We're going to bend our knees and take hold of Uttanasana, forward fold, swinging the elbows side to side. Releasing the hands down, start to peel up through each of the vertebrae. Taking the shoulders back and down. Keep the head down a moment more. And then lift the head. Good. If we just spin around so we can face forward again on the next side. Lovely. And shimmy a little bit closer to the top end. Breathing in, arms reach. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands down, step back into your plank pose. And then we can drop down with the opposite knee and roll to the inside of the foot. Good. So taking time to set up, flexing into that back foot and then lifting it when ready. Wonderful. And floating the leg, lower the arm up overhead. Lift back up again. And lower. One more. Good, lower. This time lifting, and we're going to draw in, knee to elbow. Keep the leg high. Good, open out. Coming in. One more. Wonderful, open. Keeping your foot flexed, swing the leg forwards, hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop the foot by the front hand, swing both arms up, tuck under through the tailbone, reaching high. And then you sink down nice and low with the hips. Breathe in, rise taller. Exhale a little lower. Draw the front foot further forward if you can. I'd go even further if you can. Yeah, that's it. Good. Then we're all going to release the opposite hand, 2 foot down to the floor and open out towards the side, looking towards top hand. Excellent. And remember to just softly sink the hips down, finding more flexibility there. And then the hand falls to the knee. We flex our foot, push the knee away from us, heart leads forward. Lovely. And then we're coming into our lizard. So you're going to walk your foot out a little way again. And then just lengthen the chest forwards. See what you can do there. If you're happy to, creep the hands further or drop down onto your forearms and just really think about reconnecting to the breath. Walk the hands back in, frame around your foot, so it might need to come into the middle again. Tuck under through the back leg, pause in downward facing for a moment. Feel the backs of the legs lengthen, the sit bones rise. Then the leg that was just in front lifts up high again. We open out with our hip, and you can look underneath your armpit here. or you can bring the heel towards the bottom and keep lifting the knee then really high. Good, so the power comes from the glutes. They're squeezing to help the lift. And releasing back down. Walk your feet forwards to the middle again. Hands back towards the feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe taking that little rock and roll again. Releasing the hands to the floor. Peel up through each of the vertebrae. Taking shoulders back and down, spreading hands wide. Then lifting the head. Lovely. Okay, facing forwards. Let's come into a balance, but that again targets hips. So I'm going to spread the toes nice and wide on one leg and get a little bit of a bounce. So this leg's nice and bouncy. I'm going to pick up the other leg and take it across the top of the thigh. Good. Try to flex the foot as long as it's comfortable. Then hands to heart. We're sinking low. So the bottom's coming down, and at the same time the heart is traveling forwards. So you end up almost kind of folding in on yourself. Keep that external rotation with this thigh, trying to draw it down towards the floor. Good. Lovely. Now press, rise back up again, and you're going to take the foot behind you without touching the floor. Knees together, tuck under through the tailbone and drive those hips forwards just to help increase that quad stretch. If you're able to, hold the foot in both hands and then you get a little stretch across fronts of shoulders too. Lovely, and then last one, still not touching the floor if possible. Take it onto the thigh or the calf and come into your tree. So we tend not to think about tree as hips, but it really is. So you're thinking about them being square. Again, it's that external rotation in the thigh. There's a bit of a grip going on from the glute, and we're looking for this nice kind of outward movement across the inner thigh. Good. Let's release. Do the same on the other side. So bounciness into your grounded leg, coming over the top with the opposite. Find that external rotation sensation, and then bums out. Chest lowers down. Wonderful. Good. Try to rise up without lowering the foot. You're going to slowly and carefully take the leg behind you. Grab hold of it, draw the knees together. Tuck under through the tailbone to lengthen the hip flexors. Wonderful. And again, without taking the foot down, see if you can come to your tree. Yes, nice balance. Well done. Good. And then releasing down. So the leg that we've just done, if that comes to the floor, you can take the opposite one in front. This one's here for balance, hence why it's on the kind of tip of the foot. You're going to swing the hip that's at the back to the side. Reach across to the opposite side. You may find the floor, or you might just need to balance on the back leg. You can bend the knee, it doesn't need to be super duper straight. And you might feel a pull kind of on the outer edge of that back thigh. Yeah, so whichever foot is completely flat, you're reaching over to the opposite side, really. That's it, wonderful. Slowly come back up, and then we'll do the same on the opposite. So foot out, other foot to the side for balance and support, pushing the back hip out to the side and reaching across to the opposite. Wonderful. Then coming back up, if you need a prop, you're welcome to use one. I'm going to come into Malasana, your yoga squats, to finish off. So I'm going to place a block behind, but in between my legs. Good, hands to heart. Breathing in, let's reach up, extending with the arms, and exhale, knees out to the sides, keeping the chest lifted as we lower all the way down. And if you take your prop, really press out against the knees to find a little bit more height. Should have said prop or props. As many blocks as you need. Good. So because you're not on the prop, I'm not going to give you the next one because it's really difficult unless you're feeling super, super comfortable. So instead, let's just move our hands behind or in front, whatever you need to do to transition back to the floor, and then take the soles of the feet together. I'm going to finish with a long hold of Uttanasana. So this is the one we were starting with, this kind of bouncy knee thing. Instead, let's think about opening the feet up, or if the knees are higher, hold your ankles and apply some pressure to your thighs as you begin to tip forward so that we get a nice kind of even stretch across the body. Wonderful. And just concentrate on slowing your out breath right down here. Take a full in-breath through the nose and sigh through the mouth, coming just a little bit lower. And then breathe in to rise back up, pulling the legs to a seated pose, last little bit. Good. And we just close our eyes to finish here, taking 3 mindful breaths. And hands to the heart, bowing the heads, and just thanking yourself for taking the time out of your busy day to step onto the mat and move mindfully. Thank you. Thank you very much.